So what we want to talk about in this video is this little Infeed. Now it's, you see a lot of these on YouTube, different ones. People, the one most prominent is the one made for the saw stop saw. But since the Unisaw, the Delta Unisaw, with the Unifence rail, doesn't leave a gap between the saw and the rail for clamping. So I had to come up with a different way of clamping it. Fortunately, pretty easy with this little device here. You just slide it on. If you're using it with a sled, you can line your sled up on it and then tighten her up. And it gives you support from behind the saw. So if you had to cut something really big and thick like I just did, you can have support out here where your sled doesn't try to tip over. It can be used too with the rip fence. With the rip fence, you just slide it down here close to it, where it'll help support your material as it goes in. So let's take a look at how this is made. So I'm going to set my distance well clear of that bevel. And you'll be able to line it up with the miter slots or not, whatever's needed. It should go on and off real easy. This part will attach here. Be a bolt go through it and attach to the locking part on the other side. This is just a safety device for when I'm ripping, and I can slide it back and forth and lock it down on the rail at any point. And that's basically what we're making now, is this part here. This interior part's the clamping part, screw, and then the hold down. This will be attached to the bottom of our new jig. Here you can see I've cut a piece there. I'm going to put it on the other side. Actually goes on this side. And I'll be doing that, attaching that with some dominoes. So here we have used dominoes to attach this. I used 3 number 6. Nice little machine to have. Pretty simple. Just get your distance correct. Here we have our clamping piece that slides into the fence rail. Just make it a little smaller in both dimensions. And I sanded mine off on the ends, kind of rounded it to make it easier to go in the slot, because you'll be sliding that in to clamp your little Infeed table. Okay, so what we ended up with, I had to use a wing nut here because I didn't have room for my knob. If you're wondering what this hole is, that's just to hang it up, because I hang all my jigs up. You can cut this groove, just cut it to the width of your miter bar, however deep you want, to where it'll be kind of level. And I did this with the route on the router table, and I just did actually measured it with a caliper. Measure it with your caliper, then just make it the width that you need it to be. Kind of sneak up on it. You notice my dominoes here I used to fasten this on with came all the way through, no big deal, makes them stronger. I used a little piece of oak for the latching mechanism. And after I got to using it, I noticed it sagged just a little at the back end. So I added a couple of oak strips to just bring that back up to level. So it's a great little device to have if you have a Delta Unisaw with a Unifence design. I think it actually works better than some of the ones without that. And it doesn't have to be shaped like this. It doesn't have to be this length. It could be a little longer, a little shorter. It doesn't really have to have it's not imperative that it's got the miter groove. You can use it without that. But it's much better with it, using it with a sled. So there you go.